AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. Matt Moscona, we are live today from court to table. So fired up to introduce y'all to this awesome venue. I promise this is going to be your new favorite spot to watch football this fall. Great place for any event. Lots of different options for spacing and catering. Just come by tonight. We'll be watching the Hall of Fame game, as I'm sure Sean Salisbury will as well. We get to talk to Sean Tuesdays during football season. He's good enough to hang out with us for a little bit here on this Thursday, as most everyone started fall camp now. Sean, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, Matt. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm doing awesome. I'm excited to watch football. Do you get into watching preseason?
You know, I'll tell you what I'd love to do if I could go watch the ball and see it. Everybody's like practices every day for training camp. I'm not, and when people say, well, it doesn't matter, it does that 5th round pick or that
Bingo.
backup trying to make a team. But I'll watch bits and pieces of preseason, but I'm not going to tune in unless it's my team, right? If the Raiders are playing or watching the Texans, I do watch and I follow closely, but I'll actually end up watching more of the guys who are trying to make a team than I will 7 or 8 snaps from a starter, because I wouldn't play my starters much in preseason.
Yeah.
I've changed on that, Matty, because I need them with the limited practices and all those things in depth. I wouldn't play them much, but I do get into it. I just don't watch game to game, but I do pay attention to all of it because, you know, I like to see who the new guys are going to be as opposed to the guys I know are going to show up.
Yeah, I'm the junkie who loves the battle for roster spot 51, 52,
Right.
53, so I'm locked
Agreed.
into it. Hey, I want to talk quarterbacks with you, and I know we have a limited time, so I want to jam. There's some LSU SEC quarterbacks I want to get into, but if I could first get a thought, this Rattler-Shuck battle in New Orleans, it's all anyone here is talking about. Look, realistically, Sean, we haven't seen much of either of these guys, but how much of an advantage do you think Spencer Rattler has, having played in a handful of games a year ago, over the rookie Tyler Shuck?
If it was the same system, same coach, same coordinator, I'd say a pretty good advantage. Experience matters, but, you know, we obviously know that Sugar's played in some big game, has a lot of experience because of his travels in college. So It's an advantage because, you know, Matty, is even when you're playing in the SEC or you're playing in the Pac-12 when it was there, or you're playing wherever you're playing in the Big 12, the game moves fast, man. But it moves a lot faster on Sundays because all those guys were the best player everywhere. So, but it's still football. It's still 11 on 11. You can't make it bigger. Then it's just a matter who's going to spend time in the field. A lot of times it's the mental side that eliminates or pushes a guy ahead. So advantage, no doubt advantage Spencer Rattler, but I don't give him a huge advantage because they're basically at square one. And, Matty, what I do, I know who goes in taking maybe the first snaps, obviously, but I let them compete because neither one is, and even though Rattler's there, he's the incumbent. Neither one of them have played enough football for me to say that's a guarantee he's going to be good. And who's going to grasp what Kellen wants to do? So I think it's a huge training camp, but I also think that this job is up for grabs depending on the everyday, day-to-day practice.
Sean Salisbury is with us. We'll have plenty of time to talk NFL. I want to get your thought on a few of these SEC quarterbacks. Some that are incumbent, some that are new, but all that have questions. You know, Garrett Nussmeier, we talked plenty about last year, Sean, but do you have a realistic expectation for Nuss going from the starter in year one to a fifth-year guy now starting for the second season?
I do. I have, you know how much I loved him, and Matty, we had talked weekly about, you know, he'd had some up and down moments, but you know what? The fact that he came back tells me something. He knew he needed stuff to work on. He's got good genes, being the DNA at home to tell him and walk him through the good and the bad, obviously. And his pop's not far away. So I do, and I'll tell you what I expect. I expect a guy that's a first-round quarterback playing like it at LSU. And regardless of how you feel and the pressure that may be on Brian Kelly, even though he's got that big contract that you and I have discussed, is with Nussmeier, Brian does the impact he's had when a guy's been there a year or two at places. This could be it's his year 3 for Nuss, and now it's his year where he's the solid guy, year 2. This is a moving year for him. I expect him to play like a first-rounder and be one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in that conference.
So everyone sort of has the question then, like, about Arch. And could he be – he's the preseason Heisman favorite. Part of me gets it, Sean, because he's like, you're setting odds. He's going to play in an offense that's got a lot of talent, really good coach.
Yep.
And so the odds makers aren't going to put themselves at too big of a liability. But, I mean, you're there sort of in the belly of the beast based out of Houston. What do you think for Arch as a third-year player but a first-year starter?
And you know, Matty, you know this, my affinity for the Mannings, and I love them. And the way they go about this methodically, not transferring, has been good. Listen, he's on an extremely gifted team with a great play-calling coach in Austin, Texas, and he's waited and learned and got a little playing time. So I understand the hype, but he would not be the Heisman frontrunner based on just the last name, because there are guys who even in the conference, whether it's Nussmeier, Lagway, I love Lenore Steller's ability to take over a game. So I'm a big Arch Manning fan. The one thing I do know, and knowing the family, and in talking to Cooper about it, he will be prepared mentally. We don't have to worry about, is he going to get into his books? Is he going to study and be ready to go? Now it just comes back to be lucky with injury. He gives you some feet. And I would tell you this, and he's going to be tested right off the bat, is he's got to get away from worrying about social media and the hype and being a hero every play, because we expect it. He's got to go just do the simple things that Sark's going to ask him. The rest will come with his natural ability. But, man, there's nobody that's got more pressure at the position in the country because of who he is and the expectations and where he's playing. But I expect him to play well. I would bet I would take somebody else on the Heisman Trophy. If he stays another year, then talk to me. Now, he may explode, but he's going to be tested. I just think it's a lot to ask a guy who's trying to get experience and the expectations. If he doesn't play hero ball will naturally visit. But he will be prepared to understand what defenses are trying to do, I guarantee you.
Sean Salisbury's with us. You said you like Lenore Sellers. Why?
I don't just like him. I love him.
Okay.
And I know this is going to sound kind of cheesy and what have you, but we've talked for years. I'm into all the other stuff, the intangibles that bring that we sometimes can't put a finger on. Obviously, he's talented. He's a big, strong, dual-threat, physical guy. I love the way he's coached. But there's a difference, and I saw it, and I've seen it in great athletes, and I'm not comparing him to the best of the best, but I saw it in Kobe Bryant. I saw it in Larry Bird. I saw it in Michael Jordan. I saw it in Tom Brady. I've seen it with a couple of my teammates. Junior Seau, he had it. That there's a refusal to lose. Now, they're going to lose some, but there's this feeling of, you know what, it's not a matter of I do have the will to win. It's the refusal to lose, and I think he's one of those guys that, regardless of how he's playing with his feet or his arms, somehow, some way, he feels like he's going to win. And if they'd have got into the playoff, I think they'd have been dangerous, because we are so quarterback-centric in sports now. He is a guy who can take over a game both ways. I'm a big fan, and if he continues to elevate as a passer, South Carolina is dangerous. I'm a huge fan. And I'm having a hard time, Matty, and I'm thinking of not making a bet on him to be the Heisman Trophy winner. If they win, and it's hard, it's a tough conference, I get all that, but I'm telling you, if he has them hanging around, he's going to get a lot of votes, because he may not have the gaudiest passing numbers, but if you're looking for a winner and a monster, he's really gifted. Now, I don't know how that's going to translate to Sunday, but as a college player right now, he's a different breed, and he's cut different, man. I'm telling you, built different.
Okay, last one is DJ Lagway, because it's interesting, Sean. His numbers last year mirrored Michael Van Buren at Mississippi State, yet
right.
Lagway gets all the hype. Van Buren obviously transfers now. Nussmeier's back up at LSU. But their numbers were almost identical. Why are we so high on Lagway?
And you got to look through the numbers, Matty, because there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks who are going to have more yards than some of these guys and do something. And you're going to take a step back and say, okay, so I'm thinking Saturdays, but also Sundays. I'll tell you, I had this kid, Matty. He was a sophomore. I was coaching at a camp, and I was coaching the high school players, and they had their elite players there, and was coaching it, and they moved him up to my group.
Oh, you had Lagway?
I had him when he was a sophomore in high school. I coached him at a camp, and I didn't know who he was. This was before he, took over in the Woodland, out in Conroe or wherever the high school he went to and dominated. He's a great Willis, I guess is where it's at. But the guy's a player. So I had him on the field, and they said, just keep an eye on a couple of these guys and watch him too, just to tell me what you think about him. That's what they said to me. I said, okay, who is he? And they said his name but didn't say anything about him. About 20 minutes into camp, I walked after we threw and we go through one-on-ones. I walked over to the head of the camp, and I said, who is that guy that he told me to watch? He's the best player at this camp, and it's not close. It was DJ Lagway. Great kid. I love him because he's a physical presence. He was so coachable. Now, you would have never known by his demeanor. He didn't say much. Now, I know he's a great leader there, but he was focused on business at this camp. Every rep to him mattered. And he was coachable. Plus, he's big. He's physical. He can run. He's got a great arm. I get it because people are thinking about him not only for Saturday, but thinking, if you had to risk it right now, the man, Arch Manning, because of the name and because of the potential. But I'm not sure of all these guys we're talking about. If you had to draft a college quarterback today and they were all eligible, I'm not sure they wouldn't start with him as the first pick. He's that good, but the numbers they get skewed. I get why they have him ranked there. Now he's got to go prove it and get him winning again and do it for a full season where he's the guy and it's all in his hands. But there's nothing not to like, and his attitude and as a gentleman and his teammate, I loved him. I did, and I still do.
We love talking to you. Sean Salisbury is with us Tuesdays during football season. It was good enough to hang out for a couple of minutes here today, talk a little quarterback. It's always good to get a little bit of an education. Man, we appreciate it. Looking forward to chatting again this football season as it gets closer, man.
I can't wait. Real quick, Matt, I look at all these quarterbacks in the SEC starting, some transfers, some that are there. Damn, it's a good list. It's going to be a blast to watch from Vanderbilt all the way to LSU. I can't wait till we get this thing started and these quarterbacks in this conference. I look forward to talking to you all year long, brother. Thank you.
I think it's the deepest quarterback, the league's been a quarterback since 2013. And
no question. And I'm not sure it's close since then, Matty, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Sean, thanks for the time, man. We'll visit soon.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. That is the one and only Sean Salisbury. Sports Talk 790 in Houston, on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Y'all get him there. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. It's that simple. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog. Let me say it again. A patented, meaning nobody else doing it. Non-toxic, meaning it's safe for plants and pets and everything in your home. And a dry fog, well, opposite of wet, meaning it can get on your furniture and your carpet. You're not cutting sheetrock or pulling up carpet and rugs. They're going to come in, they're going to spray, they're going to let the fog dwell. It'll kill everything, mold down to the spores, other harmful pathogens as well. So it's a great sanitization process as well. It's Parish Restoration. It's cost-effective, it's effective, it's efficient. It's Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com to learn more. Parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Thursday shows are brought to you by Decision Critical. We're glad to be hanging out with you here at Court to Table for another 45 minutes or so. And then afterwards, we're staying for the Hall of Fame game. So if you've never been to Court to Table here on Burbank, get your behind over here. Even if you just pop in, sit with me at the bar and drink a cold Bud Light or say hello, just to walk around as you're planning your fantasy draft party, maybe your game watch with friends or family coming in. Maybe you got a work event where you need to go get a whole bunch of people together. This is an awesome place to do it. They got live music Friday and Saturday night. Thursday night tonight is ladies' night, where it's half off glass of wine for ladies. Wednesday is the Cornhole League and beer buckets and wings and an amazing menu. You got to come try the food here. I'm telling you, this isn't just bar food. They have a chef-curated menu. It's awesome. You got to come experience Court to Table. Get here tonight while we're here. All right, we're going to knock out a break. What do I have next? Let me look at my rundown. My apologies. Okay. I want to jump back into the black and gold. So the Saints, they miss on Noah Fant. What do they do at tight end? If you missed it, they cut Hunter Dekkers at quarterback. They signed Kai Kroger, the punter. So some roster movement today for the New Orleans Saints as they're making their way through training camp. We'll delve into that. And then Gordon McKernan is going to join us as well in about 15 minutes. He of GetGordon.com and of Court to Table. Stay with us. Stay far.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Matter of fact, I was over at Goodwood today. Got Gabe over at Goodwood does an awesome job, and we were just talking about the different therapies that I've been on, how I feel, how we might want to adjust the treatment, which is unique to my case. I've told you for years I've been on hormone therapy. It's been life-altering. I recommend anybody, go get your blood labs drawn to see if you're a candidate. You could safely, affordably supplement to get you to healthy levels, get you feeling right. But also, NAD+. I've told you about my experience with BPC 157, Body Protection Compound 157. Gabe was asking me, like, how do you feel off it now for a month and a half as opposed to when you did on it? So we started to look at what my next cycle on will be like for my back pain. I'm just telling you, you want to live a fuller, healthier, more vital life, pain-free and energetic. You can do it. YourGoodwood.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
We had Kai Kroger, punter from South Carolina, and then we let go of Hunter Dekkers, quarterback. Obviously, just making that move there as we go, and we'll see how everything progresses moving forward. The injury things that we had talked about, Juwan Trayton and John, Juwan was limited in practice. The other two did not participate in practice. Obviously, it'll be a little thing. It'll take a few days for those guys to get back into it, but they'll be fine, nothing long term.
Kellen Moore running through a little transaction today. You might remember Kai Kroger, who punted at South Carolina, was an All-American in 2022, first-team All-SEC in 22 and 24. They actually brought him to SEC Media Days. He was that impactful of a punter. Was undrafted. We got picked up by the Jets, waived by the Jets, now picked up by the Saints. Saints have three punters, including James Burnip, the rookie out of Alabama, who's got a huge leg, and then Matthew Hayball from Vanderbilt, who was the punter last year. So that battle very much wide open. But it's interesting to me that in order to bring in Kai Kroger, the corresponding, to bring someone in, you have to create a roster spot. So you can't just sign as many players as you want. So you have the 90-man roster limit. So they had to waive somebody. Well, who they waived was Hunter Dekkers. Remember, Dekkers is the quarterback who we talked about, who I liked a lot. Dekkers was a talented guy who was at Iowa State. He got caught up in the sports betting scandal there at Iowa State, ended up going to a JUCO or an NAIA, something like that, because he couldn't play in the NCAA anymore, and then gets his opportunity back now with the New Orleans Saints, but the Saints waive him. It's interesting because I was thinking, 4 quarterbacks feels like a lot, but I texted Ross Jackson just a minute ago, of course, from LouisianaSports.net. By the way, Ross's practice reports. It was 8 pages of notes today. I mean, when I tell you, I don't mean to go on a tangent here, but I keep reiterating this. There is no more detailed practice report that anyone is doing than what Ross Jackson is doing at LouisianaSports.net, and it's free, like free for free. No paywalls. There's no article limits. There's no freemium. It's not we're getting you in to then sign you up. It's free. We're operating LouisianaSports.net the same way we've operated our radio station, all of our content. We are an ad-based model where we're going to do great content. Hopefully you support it, and then advertisers want to be part of what we're doing. So please go read Ross's report. Anyway, now back on track. I texted Ross. I was like, hey, did they have 4 quarterbacks in camp last year? He goes, yeah, they had Nathan choice word Peterman in camp until August the 2nd. I had forgotten about that. They did have Nathan Peterman in camp last year. So they had 4 in camp last year as well, with Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, and Nathan Peterman. So, of course, you have camp arms. Hunter Dekkers is just an interesting one to me because but for the betting scandal, that's a Power 4 quarterback that was a really productive player that probably would have been taken somewhere in day 3 of a draft or maybe even higher. Who knows how it could have gone for him. But so the decision to let Hunter Dekkers go to bring in Kai Kroger is interesting. And they asked Kellen Moore about that decision. Like, you could have released anyone on the roster. Why Dekkers?
Yeah, we're just in a goofy situation quarterback-wise with just the reps right now. Obviously, we think the world of Hunter, and we'll see how everything progresses here moving forward. And obviously, we feel really good with his development.
They asked also in a follow-up, because remember, if he goes unsigned, they could always bring him back. So they asked Kellen Moore that question: would you bring him back?
We'll see how this all progresses. Hunter's done a really nice job here for us, and so we'll just see how everything progresses as we go.
He just says nothing. He just says absolutely nothing. For what it's worth, when he talked about sort of the goofy situation with the reps. So in this practice on Thursday, and again, hat tip Ross Jackson, you can go see this. It's all there for you. Ross is charting every quarterback rep. And so in each report, you're getting that day's reps and then the running total. So here's the running total for the three quarterbacks. Spencer Rattler is 61 of 83. I'm terrible at math. I'm certainly not going to do mental math, so let me get at my calculator. So he's 61 of 83. That's 73%. So Rattler is completing 73% of his passes so far. Haener is 52 of 75 for 69% completion. And then Tyler Shuck, and this is all of Cam, not just today, is 34 of 58, which is 58%. So Rattler's at 73%, Haener's at, 69%, and then Shuck is at 56%. What did I say? 34 divided by 58 is 58%, excuse me. So, and then just look at the reps, the attempts. Rattler has attempted 83 passes. Haener has attempted 75 passes. Shuck has attempted 58 passes. So you're also seeing that disparity as well, where you're trying to get all three of those guys reps that just aren't reps right now for Dekkers. And usually you have a camp arm, like we talk about, where it's somewhat like someone has to go out there and throw passes to the DBs and so on and so forth. So you have a camp arm to do that to protect the guys who are making the roster. This is one of those instances where you got three dudes that are getting that need all the reps they're getting. So it'll be interesting if there is a spot somewhere along the way for Dekkers. I guess I could see a reality where if you get to the final 53-man roster and maybe, let's say, you waive Jake Haener with the intention of signing him back to the practice squad, but someone picks him up and signs him to their active roster, then maybe you could bring Hunter Dekkers back and sign him to your practice squad. Something worth watching as it moves forward. But as of now, down to three quarterbacks after Hunter Dekkers was waived to add Kai Kroger. Can Kai Kroger win this job? That'll be fascinating to watch. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Get to the website. You can check out all the dealer specials that they have there right now at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. That's the website for South Point Volkswagen. And there is a promotions tab at the top where you can get all of the dealer specials right there at South Point Volkswagen. If it's on the lot, it's online. Remember, their certified pre-owned selection is awesome. All different makes and models, not just Volkswagens, because they move more new inventory than anyone else. They get all these trade-ins. So even if you're shopping for a pre-owned vehicle, go shop the used car lots. Make sure you shop South Point Volkswagen as well. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Gordon McKernan, one of the partners here at Court's Table, is going to join us in just a quick second. But this was interesting. If you missed it, an hour ago, we had former LSU All-American offensive lineman Will Blackwell on the show with us. Will was such a key part. He was a starting offensive guard on that 2011 team. Came to LSU as a defensive lineman, converted to offensive line, became a starter and an All-American on what was the greatest LSU team ever until the 2019 team came along. And we talked a lot with Will about the decision to play the opener against Clemson because, of course, in 2011 they played Oregon in that opener, and he was very much in favor of the focus that it provides for you in the season. It's easy to say, of course, when you win. Well, Sam Acho, former, of course, Texas defender, was on ESPN. I think this was College Football Live, but he was on ESPN talking about LSU's decision to put so much emphasis on this opener.
It costs you your confidence. It's a 12, 13, maybe even more game season. If you put so much focus on game one and you lose game one, all of a sudden you focus on the big picture rather than the little things. It was the defense that cost LSU many games last season. Little things. They didn't do a great job of adjusting when it came to motions against the run game. And so if you focus on, we got to do everything we can to win this game, then you lose against a really talented Clemson offense. All of a sudden the morale and the confidence of the team can go down and you'll miss the little things, which is playing better defense led by Blake Baker.
But what if you win? If you beat Clemson on the road, you've set yourself up for an amazing boon to the season. The other thing I'll also point out is the very first year of the college football playoff was the 4-team playoff. But in 2014, Ohio State lost their season opener at home to Virginia Tech, a Virginia Tech team that ended up going 6-6. It was a terrible loss for Ohio State, but they rebounded from it. Obviously, Urban Meyer was their coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach. That a great coach that got his team back on track, and they went on to win a national championship. If LSU loses to Clemson, okay, the onus is going to be on Brian Kelly to get the thing back on track and get them moving in the right direction with 11 regular season games remaining. Ain't no running from it. It's on the schedule. You got to play it. And I'm looking forward to it. We're less than a month away from LSU and Clemson there in Clemson, South Carolina. We are here at Court to Table in Baton Rouge on Burbank. Phenomenal spot. Y'all come hang out with us here. They got a beautiful courtyard, tons of games. They got big Jenga, Connect Four, cornhole, ping pong. I'm looking at the shuffleboard table right here. Bo can confirm I've been wrecking people on shuffleboard all day. No one will play me actually because I just keep scoring points. I'm a shuffleboard ringer right now. Savant's what it feels like. Come hang out with us here at Court to Table, y'all. Drink some ice cold Bud Lights with us. Eat some great food, and hang out here at Court to Table while we watch Sunday Night Football or the Hall of Fame game on NBC. All right, Gordon McKernan with us when we come back here from Court to Table on this Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge.
AFR.
Man, I'm so proud to tell you more about Duplessis Builders, and I'm not going to spill the beans. But I did have a conversation with my friends over at Duplessis here in the last 24 hours, and they are going to move forward with some new NIL deals. So last year, you might remember, we did a great deal with the late Kyron Lacey, also with Harlan Berry, Jacob Myers during the baseball season, and I'm going to let them disclose it when they want. But one current Tiger and maybe some future Tigers as well. But, of course, Derek Duplessis, look, he's an LSU alum. He's from Gonzales, went to LSU, I tell you all the time. Mechanical engineer. He uses his engineering background to build not only beautiful pools, but beautiful pools that will last. That's why at Duplessis, they offer you a 10-year workmanship warranty. DuplessisBuilders.net. Check them out online. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
We roll on from Court to Table, counting down to the open of the preseason NFL opener. The Hall of Fame game with the Lions and the Chargers. Tonight, we'll be hanging out here at Court to Table, and we can't come to Court to Table without talking to Gordon McKernan, who was so instrumental in bringing this concept to Baton Rouge. G, great to have you. How are you?
I am great, Matt. Thank you, man.
Of course. All right, you and I talked about this, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago, maybe even longer than that this was happening. It's here. I've kind of fallen in love with the venue, man. I love it. Give me some impressions of how it's gone since y'all opened the doors.
Well, a lot better than I thought, and I think me and the partners, you always get worried about timing of when you open something, and we had these goals to open it in May, and then early June we get a part of the updraft, the LSU baseball charge to the playoffs, and we missed some of those dates, and we had to push it back till late June, and you get a little nervous. You're opening when everybody's on vacation, and it's hotter, and kids aren't here in school. But it's been greatly received by the community. It's blown through some of our expectations. We have a great staff, a great partnership group, so it's going great.
Gee, one of the things that I've told so Brian Neal's the manager over here. I've known a good while.
Good guy.
One of the things I've told Brian every time I've tried to order something different on the menu, like, the food's great. Like, this is not a bar food. Not that there's anything wrong with bar food, but this is not a bar food menu. This is a place where you can come and have a great meal. Can you maybe talk a little bit, if you would, explain what went into creating the menu?
Oh, yeah. So I have to give all credit to Ozzie Fernandez, good friend and partner with him in several restaurant concepts. And when I got the idea some 3-4 years ago over in Austin to try to do this, first person I called was Ozzie. I said, like, I think this will work. I don't know the food and beverage side. You do. And then from that moment he was in, and as usual, he's just a master chef. He really is still a chef. Even though he's a restaurateur and an entrepreneur, he loves to be in the kitchen. He loves to fiddle with the recipes and create a menu. And he's wise enough to know that even when he tries something and he thinks it'll work, he's willing to sub it out. So all credit to him. And it's just a modern American menu, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be sensitive to those people who want to come and get a good healthy meal, and you got grains and bowls and salmon like that. And look, if you want to pig out and watch the game and eat chicken wings, you can do it. So he's done a great job. All credit to him.
I had the salmon for lunch. It was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, everything I've had here has been awesome. I
can believe it. Like I saw a picture of you shirtless in the Caribbean, man. You kind of buff. You kind of there, brother. I can see where you're eating salmon, man. I was like, look at him flexing in that picture.
I was not flexing in the picture.
You were. There was a little flex in that.
All right, I might have been flexing just a little bit. Who knows? You gotta be like Instagram in Instagram shape, right? Anyway,
man. Like, let me tell you, you are the. And this is a compliment. You wear a bald head better than anybody I've ever seen. It is.
This is going downhill.
That jawline, the ball. You rock it, brother. I give it to you, man. You look good.
This is getting so awkward. Gordon and I are going to go pick out curtains soon. Apparently, that's how this is going.
I'm being honest.
No, I know.
Man.
I'm teasing.
Good.
Hey, the other thing too that there's two other things I want to talk about specifically with Court Table. One is, if you love pickleball, that's great. And we'll talk about that in a second. But this does also have, like, the sports bar component of it without being, like, a rowdy all-guy sports bar. What was that concept like to put this together?
Yeah, well, I think you're hitting on it. We didn't want that, the rowdy sports bar where, the guys would only go and you didn't feel like you could have a great date there, or a group of ladies could come and play pickleball and have the salmon, or even a family. And it was very important to us to be diverse as an entertainment. You hear that word. We want to feed you and also entertain you. So we have the great music stage. We have the courtyard with all the games, as well as the pickleball and cornhole. So it was very important for us to be diverse and not just try to go after a sports bar crowd.
Yeah, we're tomorrow, I'm bringing a party of 14 here. My wife and our niece, their birthdays were earlier this week, back-to-back days, so we're coming here to celebrate their birthdays because the adults can have a great meal and a cocktail or a beer, whatever, and the kids can run around and play. And everybody can enjoy it. Like, literally, if people are watching us right now on YouTube, you'll see there's people behind, like there's kids behind us playing cornhole on the indoor court. It's. I mean, y'all knocked it out the park, man. So the last thing, though, is the pickleball component. I know you're big into it. I've never played pickleball in my life, but for those who are into pickleball, give us the deets there.
Yeah. So we've got two great, I would say, pickleball partners. They're kind of the godfathers of our pickleball. That's Bob Barton and Destin Thibodeau. They're really good at it, and they've spared no attention to detail to trying to make sure that everything from the 5 indoor courts to the 5 outdoor and even our championship court is right. From the surface, we spared no expense with the surface, lighting. We're still working out a few things outside for visual aesthetics, bringing in some more backdrops so that you can pick up the ball even better. So we're fully committed to giving the best pickleball experience that you can get in Baton Rouge.
Well, G, thanks for having us here today. I hope we have many more opportunities to do this because, you're not paying me to say it. I mean it. Like, this is an awesome place. I mean, this is a place that I look forward to bringing my family to and coming to a lot. So, for you and your partners, thanks for making this happen for Baton Rouge, for many people that are going to enjoy it, this summer, spring, and or fall, and for many years to come, hopefully.
Yeah, and it sounds I don't say corny, but obviously we want to make money, but this really was trying to bring something to Baton Rouge that the community could be proud of. You have, folks, friends from out of town or family. You go, hey, look, let me go show you a great experience with some music, have some entertainment, and a great meal. And we really didn't, in our opinion, have that here. And so that's what we try to create.
Well, you knocked it out the park. Excited to watch. This will be the first time I get to watch a football game here tonight, and I'm excited to be here for the Hall of Fame game. All right, well, you and I are going to talk plenty about football season and NIL and the G team and all that as we get closer to it, man. But we appreciate you having us here, man. We'll talk soon, all right?
Yep. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
That's our pleasure. Gordon McKernan joining us here. Fortunately, G couldn't be here physically with us tonight. He's out of town. Guy keeps a busy schedule. But we're here tonight at Court to Table. Just come pop it. Just trust me. Pop in for, even if you will pop in for 10 minutes and have a beer and just say hello, just to see the place. You'll get it. You'll start to get the concept, because there really isn't anything like this here. So come, just pop in and see it. I'm hanging out for the whole Hall of Fame game tonight. Drink a Bud Light with me, hang out, and stay for the whole game if you can. Have dinner, bring your family. Have dinner, bring the family. Be great. All right, it's After Further Review. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. We got one segment to go, and I'll circle back as we wrap up, because we don't have otter locks. I kind of wish we did now with the Hall of Fame game tonight. I don't know what otter would go with tonight, but would love to know. In any event, I'll circle back to what some things that Garrett Nussmeier said at SEC Media Days to Marty and McGee, which I think you're going to enjoy hearing. And it's interesting. You might say, well, Matt, Media Days was 2 weeks ago, and that's true. But oftentimes what happens is the content that's gathered at Media Days isn't always released on those days. A lot of times interviews are done, and then the content is sort of rationed up until the start of the season. And so there's a sit down that Garrett did with Marty and McGee that's just now being released that I think you're going to enjoy some of those sound bites. So we'll play a couple of those clips when we come back here to wrap up on AFR from Court to Table on Burbank.
AFR.
Hey, remember, as we speak about football season and football season right around the bend, you're probably thinking about what you're going to start doing on those football Saturdays or the weekends. Maybe you got family or colleagues or clients coming in from out of town. Remember the Watermark and the Renaissance. The Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, if you're hosting an event, my friend Allison Crump, she's the events manager for both hotels, and I love her line. She says it all the time. She said, we're in the business of saying yes. If there's something you want to do, we'll manipulate our space to make it happen. From boardroom for a dozen people up to hosting the entire LSU football program the night before home games. She's awesome. They're awesome over at Watermark Downtown and Renaissance Southtown on Bluebonnet. But if you've got family, friends, whatever, coming in for football games, look ahead at the schedule. What day is that? Where are they staying? Book their hotels now at Watermark and Renaissance. Watermark is downtown, Renaissance Southtown on Bluebonnet. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
I think if we keep that type of mindset, man, we're after it. It's another year, and we're out to finish what we started. We're going to close out some of these debts. That's got to be the attitude. That's the mindset across the board. Every day in practice, no matter who we play, no matter what people think, man, we're going. And I just think it's a mindset. That's all.
Got to close out some of these debts. What a way to put it. Dan Campbell, the coach of the Lions. Of course, Lions and Chargers tonight will open up the preseason. The Lions were 15-2 a season ago. 15-2 a season ago. The Lions. The Detroit Lions. DeToilet. 15-2. And my goodness, Jaden Daniels did him dirty in the divisional round. Commanders beat him 45-31, and all that work over an 18-week, 17-game regular season went belly up. In any event, the Lions tonight, back at it. First, the Hall of Fame game, the first preseason game. And it'll be the Lions and the Chargers as the preseason gets underway for the NFL. One other thing worth noting here, as remember, it is, of course, the Hall of Fame game. Next year, Drew Brees will be a first-year eligible player for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You have to be retired for 5 years before you're eligible for the Hall of Fame. So today, in honor, of course, the Hall of Fame game and Hall of Fame weekend upon us, our friends over at BetOnline put out odds for next year's first ballot Hall of Famers to get elected. And Larry Fitzgerald will be a first-year eligible player. He is minus 2,000 to be elected. 95.2% chance that Larry Fitzgerald will be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. That makes sense. Drew Brees, also a first time on the ballot, a first-year eligible candidate next year. Drew Brees is minus 900. He is that equates to 90%. There's a 90% probability that Drew Brees will be elected in his first year. The other first-year eligible player worth mentioning is Jason Witten, the fantastic tight end. He is plus 150, which equates to a 40% chance of being elected in his first year. The others, Marquise Pouncey, Sean McCoy, Frank Gore, Phillip Rivers, Geno Atkins, Greg Olson, Julian Edelman, Des Bryant. Those are the other notable first-year eligible players next season. But the two that are shoo-ins are Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees. The other that you'll keep an eye on is in year one will be Jason Witten. And then there's guys who are close. Eli Manning has an 83% likelihood. Terrell Suggs. Eli was 83% last year. Forgive me. Terrell Suggs, 75%, didn't get in. Luke Kuechly was 50%. None of them made the Hall of Fame in their first year. We'll see if they might make it this year. But that voting process is still a ways away. But the first-year eligible players, among them, Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, certainly shoo-ins to be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first ballot. So next year, as a reason to bring this up, of course, typically the Hall of Fame game, typically the teams playing coincide with someone going into that year's class. So there's a possibility that with Drew Brees going into the Hall of Fame next year, you could see the Saints playing in the Hall of Fame game at Tom Benson Stadium. That would be some cool synergies if it were to happen. All right, we're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, locations all over South Louisiana. ShawBillsTire.com. If you're maybe taking that last little road trip, or maybe you're planning that football road trip this year, make sure you bring your vehicle to Shaw Bills. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and of course, they'll treat you like family at Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. You can schedule service online. You can find the location nearest you online at Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all. I mentioned this, and I want to get to it before we get out of here. Garrett Nussmeier during SEC Media Days was on Marty and McGee, and sometimes content from SEC Media Days isn't released until far after, as content can be sort of rationed out. And they asked Garrett about coming back to LSU and the goal for this year.
I didn't want to watch anybody else be the guy that leads LSU to a national championship. LSU means the world to me. Louisiana means the world to me. Also my faith helped me so much throughout that, decision process. And I feel like I was, same reason why I stayed whenever everybody was trying to tell me to leave and transfer. God brought me to LSU for a reason. I always wanted to win a national championship here. And it wasn't about winning a Heisman or being the first overall pick. It was just about winning a championship. And so having that opportunity, that I just couldn't pass it up.
He said, I didn't want to watch anybody else lead LSU to a national championship. He wanted to be the one from Louisiana to lead LSU to a national championship. And Garrett Nussmeier will certainly have an opportunity to do that. Coming back as the leading returning passer in college football, a ton of talent via the transfer portal, several back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes that LSU stockpiled. The roster is looking again like it should look in order for LSU to be a championship contender. Now, you got to get in the playoff to have a chance to win it, see what your draw looks like and all that. But to get there, you got to go 10-2, and a big part of that will be winning your opener against Clemson. We'll see if the Tigers can do that coming up about a month from now on August the 30th. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Of course, a big part of that for LSU is Our Lady of the Lake, a great partner of ours and a championship health partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. That's the website where you can learn more, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, because at Our Lady of the Lake, that championship health partnership with LSU, yes, it's about caring for the athletes, the student athletes, but also the students and the everyday champions in life, people like you and like me and our families. That's why, as part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, they have hospitals and clinics to care for all of our expansive needs, from all your daily bumps and bruises to things like cancer and stroke and heart health and pediatrics. It's Our Lady of the Lake. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Okay, y'all. A Hall of Fame game is staring you straight in the face. We have got football tonight. Even if it's a bunch of dudes, that'll be accountants in a couple of weeks. It don't matter. Because you have dudes that are getting paid to put on an NFL uniform and go play a game tonight. We're going to be hanging out here at Court to Table to watch the game. So come have some dinner. Come hang out with us here at Court to Table tonight on Burbank. Pop in, say hello, even if you stay for a quarter or just for a beer. Or come have dinner. Would love to see you at Court to Table. I'll be hanging out throughout the Hall of Fame game tonight. So looking forward to a great night, meeting many of you here. So come hang out with us at Court to Table on Burbank. Big shout out to my friend Blasia over at Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge, our title sponsor of our Thursday shows all throughout the year. Bo Wegman here on site. Thanks so much to Musso and Cassie back in studio. Appreciate all the hard work as we're here. Tomorrow, we're back in studio. LSU is back on the practice field, but no media availability. Terrio's back tomorrow as well. We'll see you for a Friday edition of AFR tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
You know, as we head into this evening, I got to remind you about Supper Club. I was chatting with Chef Layton yesterday, and one of the things we were going through is their new whiskey list. And I think if you listen to the show or follow any of my content for any length of time, you know that I'm a gigantic whiskey nerd, and I don't hide that from anybody. I would put Supper Club's allocated whiskey list up against anybody. It's no surprise because they have the best of everything, and no matter what it is, if it's your Japanese Wagyu, if it's the best Chilean sea bass that you'll ever eat, if it's the Alaskan king crab legs, like literally from the deadliest catch boats, they have those. But they have the best selection of allocated whiskeys as well. The Pappy Van Winkle 15, the 20-year. They've got the full Weller vertical. They've got it all right there, and you can always just pop in belly up to the bar without a reservation at Supper Club.